Good morning, everyone. My name is Lisa Causley, and I'm a fellow student in Public Health 3050. And this is in reference to our cultural health philosophy statement. Our assignment was to reflect upon how my own cultural philosophy will affect my professionalism in the future. Health and culture are interdependent upon one another. To achieve optimal well-being, one must first understand and recognize the importance of the interconnectedness between the two. Health is a physical, psychological, educational, environmental, economical, and societal state of being. All forms of health must work harmoniously together to achieve optimal health. Any imbalance between the states can hinder the opportunity for such. We must treat the whole man. Next, the question was posed, how would I define culture? To me, culture represents a group's beliefs, values, habits, and behaviors. One's culture can be defined as one's worldview. Cultural adaptations can and will influence a person's life, such as diet, their spiritual beliefs, individuality, gender representations, and much more. Culture is a driving force of how many of life's circumstances occur. My culture is as varied and complex as the next one. I recognize my culture in my thoughts and my ways. Sometimes it isn't easy to define culture, but I feel it in my core. It has an almost unconscious effect on my morals and values. I feel it in my thoughts and my ways, my very being. I see my culture in my decision making and how I interact with others. My culture has influenced my ideals about the universe, my race, my gender, my family, my community, my city, my state, and my country. My cultural influence seasons my daily life. Yet, the African American culture has not only learned to adapt to Western culture, but it also has learned to assimilate when necessary. How does culture hinder or help one's ability to adapt to health behaviors? Due to circumstances of the past and present, such as slavery, Jim Crow laws, segregation, discrimination, prejudice, and manipulation, African Americans have disproportionately suffered from predispositions to diseases and other negative determinants of health. There was a time when the only available diet for African Americans consisted of the throwaway parts of an animal, like the guts, feet, and snout of a hog. The term soul food was adopted for food made from nothing into something. Diets high in carbohydrates and sodium were staples in the African American household. We made do with what was given, unknowingly aware of the unhealthiness of our diets. Not only was our diet a hindrance to optimal health, but our emotional health was also constantly in a state of upheaval, fear, and full of anxiety. Spiritualism became the coping measure for my culture's survival. Through God, everything was possible, and it would be all right, including our health. We could depend on no one to help us but us. Our trust in others, including the medical profession, has been slow to fruition. Many harmful medical experiments were performed on African Americans with or without their consent. Why is culture important to study? Studying culture allows us to understand, effectively communicate, and work with others from various cultural representations without prejudice. Our understanding and knowledge of the human complexities and situations are widened when we open our minds and hearts to other cultures and norms. We better understand what it is like to walk a mile in someone else's shoes. This ability enhances the relationships between the healthcare professional and the client through health equity and improved health. What have I learned from taking this class? Knowing how cultural factors affect everyday habits is crucial to understanding how culture shapes healthy behaviors. When we recognize the cultural influences that shape our daily lives, we can see how these influences affect our health choices. Cultural factors affect not only how we think about health, but also how we act and behave when it comes to it. Understanding our cultural differences helps us to become aware of any barriers that might stop us from adopting healthy habits and makes finding ways to get around them easier. With this information, we can also use cultural practices and beliefs that support good health. It is important to acknowledge and accept the cultural factors that affect our daily lives to make health interventions and plans that work for various cultures. Understanding other cultures is one of the most critical aspects of healthcare, lending itself to improved health behaviors and results. So, understanding and valuing culture is essential for improving health habits and making the healthcare system fairer and more open for everyone. The topic that caught my attention and is still at the forefront of my mind is the chapter on American Indian and Alaskan Native populations. I suppose the old adage of out of sight and out of mind applies to this underserved group. As an African American, I have often taken for granted that we were the most notable group of individuals who unjustly suffered inequity and injustice. After reading about American Indians and Alaskan Native populations in this class, and video presentations presented in other public health classes this semester, I have learned that the opportunity for optimal health in this community has been severely compromised. Their plight should be highlighted in the media and other information outlets for all to see. After seeing and reading about this underserved community, my desire now is to serve these forgotten communities and try to promote optimal health from within.